Friends, welcome to the concluding part of our topic, decorative stitches. Last class, we look at the meaning of decorative stitches, uses of decorative stitches, types of decorative stitches, and steps in making decorative stitches. Today, we're looking at the three remaining types of decorative stitches. 1. Feather stitches. 2. Whipped running stitches. 3. Herringbone stitches. And also, we're going to look at uses of feather stitches and how to make herringbone stitches, feather stitches, and whip running stitches. Before we start, I hope you have your pen and your notes with you as usual. If not, let's get them. Welcome back. Let's start. Feather stitches. Feather stitching is a wonderful embroidery stitch you can use for border designs and use in flowering design. It is named so because of the feather-like look of the finished embroidery stitch. It is awesome for making stems and any kind of border. It is so simple and yet looks elegant. You can see from the diagram there. Now, how do we use these feather stitches, or what do we use it for? 1. Feather stitches can be used on the edge of a dress. You can use it to beautify the bottom or at the edge of a dress. Secondly, stem, vine, and branches can be made with feather stitches. So if you want to make a design like a stem, you can use it, or the one that look like vine or the branch, you can use it with feather stitches. Thirdly, you can also make a French knot at the edge of the feather stitch for making a beautiful plant with flowers. This stitch works great on quilt, that is a decorative design on bed, and also blanket too. I'm sure you can see a lot of it on a bedsheet cover. How to make a feather stitches. How to make a feather stitches. 1. Please, I want you to take closely look at the diagram. That is what will guide us as we practice it at home. Take the needle out at point A from below the fabric. Take the needle out at point A from below the fabric. Pull the thread up and insert at point C and push through at point C. Again, pull the thread up, insert it at point C, and then you push it through at the point C. 2. Keep the thread below the needle and pull the thread up. Again, insert the thread at point D on the other side of the stitch. Bring it out at the point E. Work in a similar fashion for the rest of the design. Finally, you can end the design by bringing the thread down outside of the stitching and secure the thread beneath the fabric. Whipped running stitches. Whipped running stitches is a quick and easy way to outline a shape, giving textures to the line and producing a twisted cord effect. You can either use the same colored thread or a contrast, even use different weights of thread for different effects. That is, you can make use of a different color of thread. You can use the same color of thread for it to have a different effect. That is the outcome by the time you are through with the stitches. Also, in hand embroidery, the techniques of whipping and embroidery stitch is a terrific thing to do. Making use of hand and be able to create something out is a very nice thing to do. Whipping a stitch gives you a whole new stitch with a whole new look. When you start with a whip stitchings, you use another colored of thread to do another one on it. Use it again, you are going to have a whole new look. For whip running stitch, first you need to know how to work with what? The basic stitch, which is running stitching. Remember in our previous class, I told us that running stitching is the most basic stitches and all other uses can make use of it. So today, when you want to make whip running stitch, you are going to start with running stitches. Whipped running stitch is a simple, quick stitch to work. This stitch is one of many line stitches that can be used for bold or delicate outline depending on your choice of thread. You can see all the different design in the diagram. How to do the whip running stitches. How do we do it? Now, like I said earlier, please let's take a good look at the diagram. The needle aspect, the A and B sign, please follow it step by step. Now, to do whip running stitches, you have to begin by marking your lines or shape. Outline the shape or the stitch, the line with a basic running stitches. To do a basic running stitches, insert your needle at A and back up at B. Remember, we did it last time. So you are going to start whip running with running stitches. All you need to do, insert your needle at A and then you back it up at B. Continue like this for your line or round shape. Now, if you are making a straight line, you are going to continue to do the running stitching down to the point you want it to be. And if you are having a round shape, you are going to continue like that to the point you want it to stop. So you start it with running stitches. Next one. Now, here is the lines of running stitched. What is it doing? Is waiting to be decorated. Now let's see what we are going to do. You can see it at the end of it. The lines of running stitches, very neat and nice. So the next thing to do is to decorate it. Let's go. You are ready to whip a second thread in and out your running stitches. Can you see it there? You have to whip a second thread in and around your running stitch. You come up with your second thread about midpoint below the first stitch. You come up, you can see the needle there. Come up with your second thread about midpoint below the first stitch in your roll or shape. See A below. Then take your needle and thread it through the top of the next running stitches from top to bottom. You can see here that a different color thread is used. Continue to weave your second thread from the top to the bottom through all your running stitches on your line or shape. You continue to do it like that from the top, you take it to the bottom, you pass it through your running stitches on your line or shape that you have. Here is the final sample of the first line of whipped running stitch with a blue stitch wrapped in an orange pear cotton. You can see it from the diagram there. Herringbone stitches. Herringbone stitches. It is often used for thicker outlines and initiates and is also used for single stitches or group stitches. You use it alone or you can combine it with a group stitches. It describes a distinct V shape. You can see from the diagram a very distinct one, a V shape weaving pattern, and this pattern is called herringbone. Why? Because it resembles the skeleton of a fish. Just look at it closely. That's why they call it herringbone stitches. When you look at the pattern, that distinct V shape, it resembles the skeleton of a fish. How to do herringbone stitch? How to do herringbone stitch? You have to walk left to right. Bring the needle up through the fabric at the lower left. That is point 1. You can see it there from the diagram. And walk a stitch diagonally to the upper right. That is point 2. Number 2. Bring the needle up again to the left of the insertion hole. That is point 3. And then walk a stitch diagonally to the lower right, which is also point 4. Thirdly, come back up to the left of this point, that is 5, which becomes the new point 1. So you are ready to repeat the end of the row. You go back to point 1, that is the 5 that is standing, then you repeat it again, the same pattern again. So that is how to make a herringbone stitch. Summary. Decorative stitches are widely used for hand embroidery and the decorations of clothes and other fabric. There is a wide variety of decorative stitches for hand embroidery, which are performed manually with a needle and a thread. So we have a lot of decorative stitches that are made on clothes. We have the different decorative stitches that you can make use of your hand. So you use only your thread and your needle. However, some decorative stitches work on a fabric garment that are mainly for beautification, and they don't actually serve a structural function for the garment. Such stitches include the herringbone. Like herringbone now, you can use it for beautification. They don't serve as the structural functions for the garments. Now, we have concluded the parts of decorative stitches. However, in our next class, we will learn about seams. So let's get ready and don't be left out. Love you all. See you in the next class. Bye.